What's up, everybody? This is Terminator Juice, and welcome to the Juices Loose podcast, number 35. Today we're going to be talking about the recently announced Zelda TV series, or rumored TV series for Netflix, all the Xenoblade Chronicles X info, and some other stuff here. The new 3DS coming out this Friday, so we'll get to that. But first, I'm going to just do a quick introductions. We're going to get right into this podcast. So, starting from my left, we got ASAP Rel.
Hey, what's going on, yo?
What's up? Mega Gamer Man.
Hi.
Michael, NW Order for Life.
Hey, guys.
And the King of Logic himself, Zen Gamer.
What's up, people?
Alright, thanks you guys for joining me, and I want to get this wrapped up kind of quicker. I've been a little sick the last couple days, so I didn't want to make a super long podcast, so let's dive right in. First thing I want to talk about is the rumored Legend of Zelda TV series that was leaked and supposedly coming out. Netflix is going to be producing it, and just first I just want to get your guys' opinions on if you think the show, if it's real, for one thing, and then should they take an original approach to the storyline, or should they try to emulate from one of the games, or a mixture of the two? So just give those two, and then we'll move on to some more in-depth stuff. So I'll start in reverse order. We'll start with you, Zen. Do you think that the show is really going to happen, and if it is, how do you see? Would you rather see it be an original story or something to follow one of the games that a story we already know?
Yeah, I think it should be an original story. I don't want them creating any more stories where Zelda is concerned. I really don't want that. We already have so much confusion, and some people just not accepting, for example, the Hyrule story as being the original story. I don't want them inserting anything in there saying, well, this happened after this, and then later we find out it's not canon. No, so something original, that'll be fine. You can start fresh. It could be a reboot, in a sense, of the story. I'd be fine with that. What was the second question?
If you think it's really if this is gonna actually happen, or if this rumor might end up proving to be false.
I think it's real. And that scares me on several levels. But
all right, we'll get into some of the concerns and hopes and dreams and nightmares later on. Mike, do you think, what are the chances that this show actually gets made? And then the second part is, should it be an original story, or just a retelling of one of the games?
I mean, I think Netflix has been fairly aggressive with their original series ideas, and it's been paying off for them really well. And you know, Nintendo, I think there was talk of Nintendo, trying out to go back into movies and things like that, right? Hasn't there been
they were gonna
talk about that?
Other mediums to get their IPs out, I think they said a while back.
Yeah, so this is pretty much a confirmation of that, as Nintendo is, going to experiment with new things, and Netflix has been very successful, and I feel like eventually it'll happen, and hopefully it'll pave the way for more Nintendo IPs in the future, like Metroid, on Netflix. That would be awesome. As far as the story goes, I feel like there's so much potential for Legend of Zelda in a live-action series, because the games are a blank. I'm not the game. The games have story, but the character Link is a blank slate. So you can make Link any kind of person you want. You can make him a cocky, arrogant person. You can make him a timid, cowardly person, and you can have him, progress and mature as his adventure goes on. So I feel like what it needs to be an original story with aspects from the video games. Like, for example, you can have Zelda from A Link to the Past, telepathically call him in his dreams, and you can have him be a rancher like he is in Twilight Princess. You can combine all these different elements that'll make people say, "Wow, that is, the Legend of Zelda that I know and love," but it's different, because you need to have some aspects that remind them of the game series, but at the same time, like, you can have Link being his own character, and you can add, individual characters. Like, for example, in Twilight Princess, you have a bunch of characters that were just added for that game only. The researcher, the knight, and all things like that. You can just create original characters, make Link however you want it, but you got to make sure that he's going on an epic quest that that it's his destiny to save Princess Zelda, and then he gets the Master Sword, and then he gets and then he goes through dungeons. If you keep the core aspects of the Legend of Zelda series the same, but you twist the characterization, you add new things, and spice it up, that's how you make a great original series, and that's what they need to do with Netflix.
Awesome. Good answer. How about you, Mega? Same questions.
The Zelda show. I don't know. At first, I thought it was gonna be true. I'm still kind of thinking it will be, but at the same time, not really. But I'm gonna, if this does happen, I'll try to watch the first episode. But what was the second one again? Just saying.
Just if you're not playing video games, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Just if you think it should be an original story, or should they just retell one of the stories from the games?
If it was gonna be something, I would say go with something original. Something, like how Hyrule Warriors basically wasn't, that's not really a full-on canon game, but it's a different kind of story. So that would actually work out with this kind of TV show, just making up story. Probably make it where it's a story probably before Skyward Sword, like way before. And have, I guess, just have a story probably in one of the mid of the games, like probably mid of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, or between Twilight Princess, somewhere around there. But that would actually just work out for the best to come up with something original, because if you go with something already that's done, you don't want to end up like Dragon Ball Z. So I'm just saying there.
Well, that's a movie studio. That's totally different, and they had no intention of even being remotely faithful to the franchise. That was just a cash grab, is what that was.
I think having it a series gives them more chance to be more faithful, not have to rush through.
And it says they're working directly with Nintendo, the Wall Street Journal reported. So.
That'd be cool. So, ASAP, what do you think the chances are this comes to fruition, and I guess just answer the other question as well?
I think it's real. I think it's going to happen. But as far as what I would like to see, I think it'll be good for them to just stick to something original instead of going with the game and possibly messing it up or something like that. So I think it's best if they just they just go with something original. Mike had good points with like throwing in little Easter eggs and stuff like that, like towards other games, so people that watch be like, oh yeah, I remember that from that game or that game, and that's what I think. I think they should just go with original storyline.
Yeah, I mean, basically the stories we haven't had, like the Zelda games don't have a ton of cutscenes other than maybe Skyward Sword had some more, Twilight Princess. And I think the show, I'm pretty hopeful that it's going to be made, but I'm not 100% convinced yet that it's for sure. But what I would like to see, and I'm a fan of Game of Thrones. I liked Legend of the Seeker for what it was when that aired a few years back. If you haven't seen that, Red Knight explained it on his podcast last week, how that kind of felt like maybe that's where the inspiration for Legend of Zelda came from, was these old novels, The Sword of Truth, I believe it's called. So basically they stick to a young male, or I mean, I would rather, for me, just because I'm a purist, I'd like to think Link as a boy, but it wouldn't ruin it, but I think it would be dumb to change that up. But have a young male, just like a farmer, whatever, simple person with good morals, get called upon from the Triforce or something, have the Master Sword, have Ganondorf, have him be a man, not some kind of creature or anything. I think the more human they keep the characters, the better it would be, instead of trying to get too fantasy. But then all the dialogue would have to be new, and but keep like the Triforce, maybe use the Ocarina of Time, how the goddesses came down, how the Triforce was created. Maybe have a prologue in the first episode to explain that, and you got to have obviously the Triforce of Power, Courage, and Wisdom. I mean, you can't have a Zelda series without that. So you'd have to keep true to Zelda, but the dialogue and the way the characters interact would have to be all original, because there isn't a lot to go off of. So I guess let's talk about worst case scenarios before we'll talk about what our really hopes and dreams are. For me, would be if they tried to do like the old Hercules and Xena Warrior Princess shows of the old where they had like CG creatures all the time and try to make
Oh
it
god.
too fantasy. And the other side of that, if they tried to make it too like political, like Game of Thrones, and throw a bunch of unnecessary story of like kings and corrupt, people in power, and just don't make it too complicated. Those would be like the two worst things for me. Even though the CG's come a long ways and over the years, and I'm sure Netflix budget will be fairly decent, but keep it more in reality, because Zelda doesn't know. There's really not a lot of like just other than some of the boss fights, obviously. That could be the only place they might have to do some kind of CG work, but don't make them fighting humans most of the time. Make Ganon a king of like a bunch of human villains and stuff instead of trying to make a bunch of creatures.
Gerudo.
Yeah.
He's the Gerudo King. Yeah.
So that's what I would like to, that would be worst case scenario if they tried to make it too like fantasy and had a bunch of CG that looked terrible or something. And then the other stuff would be make it too political and have it more of a drama about that. So if anybody else has any worst case or nightmares of how this could turn out, if anybody wants to go first, something on their mind.
Just if they made Link out to be like something that is completely against the image of a hero. Like if he starts off as like a gambler or a thief or things like that, I would be really pissed off because Link is supposed to be inheriting the spirit of the hero. A young boy inheriting heroism and courage and all that stuff like that. So like I want him to. I mean, it's fine if he's his own character and he's got almost a selfish personality or whatever or something. But he's got to go through that whole trial that makes him into a hero, that forges him into a hero. But at the same time, he can't start off on a complete 180, from black to white. Like that.
Don't have him gambling in some.
Yeah.
What do they call the old horror houses? Burlows or whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a Nintendo. It's a Nintendo thing, so I don't think we have to worry about any of that stuff. Family friendly, they said.
Yeah, that's true. Zen, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, my worst case scenario is pretty much going to echo some part of what Michael said. Keep Hollywood and Hollywood tropes the hell away from this. Seriously, he's a thief, and he finds the right way, and something traumatic happens, or some little girl dies, and that makes him think, oh well, I could be better, and he's just aspiring to be. No. Yeah, keep that away from. We don't want anything to do with Hollywood. That's a big old X. That's a red flag. Don't do it.
Yeah. Honestly, if I was writing, I would probably make it so that he loses everything, and that he finds an old man or something that tells him about an ancient war and how a hero is destined to save it or something like that, and then he goes on his quest.
Maybe even tragedy.
But I want to keep away from Coincidence City. That's Coincidence City. It's like you just happen to find an old man that tells you, "Hey, you're not, you have a great destiny." It's like,
well, yeah, it's destiny. It's destiny. But Zelda is pretty much heavily destiny. I mean, it is.
Yeah, I know.
So I also wouldn't want a Ganondorf to be this guy like, "I'll get you, Link," like just this terrible overacting.
Yeah.
And the next thing,
villain.
Stay away from Hollywood tropes. Also, stay away from Hollywood actors. We don't want them. We want, for lack of a better term, nobodies. Persons nobody knows. We don't want. I was making a joke last Friday on Lodgecast. We don't want Ganondorf to be Vin Diesel. we don't want Link to be Orlando Bloom. We don't want these sort of things because these people come with their own image, and that's going to affect the final product, I think.
Yeah.
Finally, the writing needs to be top notch. As you said, it's a huge worry for me that they haven't even started or even found a writer yet. So that's huge in my book. And lastly, this is my bias speaking. The most important character they need to get right is not Link, because Link, as Michael said, isn't a blank slate. He can be whatever, right? So long as it's acceptable. It's not even Ganondorf, because doing a villain right is easy. Just ensure that they're not James Bondian. The sort of stupid villains. The most important character to get right, for me, is going to be Zelda. I don't want the whole damsel in distress thing. Likewise, I don't want her to swing entirely to the tomboy side of things. A nice, happy medium would be cool. She's capable, but not overly so, and will require the aid of Link eventually, but she can take care of the smaller things herself. Or even, as the characters progress, as the series progresses, she will be capable of doing things even Link can't, and may indeed be instrumental in helping him succeed, which is pretty much how the games go.
You know what I would like? I would like a Twilight Princess Zelda, like in terms of like her personality in that game. Like very strong, confident, willing to fight for her kingdom and stuff. But at the same time, you know, not strong enough to deal with the evil, and she has to team up with Link, something like that.
Right.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, Twilight Princess would be nice, except not as cold and distant as she tended to be.
Yeah.
Somewhere between Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword. Not fully Skyward Sword though, because that was quite literally the girl next door. We don't want that.
Yeah.
I liked that her and Link were like best friends in that one, though. But we'll get to things we hope for. Get to Mega here. What's your worst case scenario for this?
Oh man, basically all you guys stated it. It's like, don't have Rocky Balboa be freaking Ganondorf. I mean, we're gonna have like, hey Link, I don't like you. Like, what the frick? I don't need that. No, Ganondorf either says or just give him a good voice actor.
Don't make him a CG pig either.
Oh yeah, don't make him CG. I think the only thing you can make CG is the hog that he transforms into. That's about it. So, because we don't want to go Godzilla on this garbage, but they really have to bring out these writers and everything. I do not, because I've seen so many shows, so many series, not just like, you know, games and stuff. It's just, I've seen so many series just, when they go into live action, just die. Of course, you guys already stated one, the Mario Brothers. I'm gonna state even more, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Dragon Ball Z, whatever. That. Ugh. And then, I mean, just hey, all right. Keep M. Night Shyamalan away. Okay, keep him away. Keep anybody on
Michael
top
Bay.
of Michael Bay, because every single time Link swings his sword, there's gonna be an explosion. Every time he says "Hiya!" you know, he's explosion in the background. This is gonna happen. So
no, they can't be any hi-yas. They got to make it serious.
But you know, they just have to make it right. Go with actors that you know you really are really not that well known, but they're good. Because you know, like Michael showed that the guy who plays the Penguin in Gotham is really freaking good. I saw what he did. He is really excellent with his character, and he fits it. So here, just get people that can fit the character. Don't get any like person out there. Like so many things you can do with this that can go totally wrong.
Bad, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just don't really mess it up. Keep Hollywood away, and especially freaking M. Night. But yeah, just do that.
Yeah, that would be worst case scenario. M. Night Shyamalan write and direct every episode.
Next thing you know, instead of the whole hog, big huge hog thing that Ganondorf turns into, he's gonna turn into like a freaking pig or something like that.
And instead of Link, his name's gonna be pronounced Lonk.
Lunk, exactly. Lunk will finally have his
and Zelda. All right, Rel. Anything we didn't touch upon that would be like terrible if it turned out?
Only concern is, look, I'm not one of those guys that's gonna sit here and say that I don't want to see Link talk, but I'm really kind of scared of how they're gonna pull that off. Because, you know, we're not used to it, so that's probably my biggest concern right there. Link speaking. So that's my biggest one right there.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I mean, everyone has an idea what they think maybe Link would sound like, and it's just gonna be hard to have it right for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gonna be a challenge. Let me say something real quick. I don't know if anyone else watches Game of Thrones,
I
but
do.
the character Jon Snow in that series, like no one knew who he was, and he took on that role, and he's like one of my favorite characters in the whole series. And if they could find someone like that to play Link and play him with dignity like Jon Snow does and have that ability to act like he does,
Hmm.
don't worry about him looking exactly like you'd want him to look and fit in the part. Same with Zelda. Just find the best actors and actresses and have them work the character with the actor so it's not just forcing them to be something they're not. So Ganondorf, all the major ones, just find good actors. Find maybe someone that's been struggling for 20 years doing small parts here and there and give them a chance. You know, there's a lot of really older people in the Lord of the Rings, older actors, which now that I watch, not Lord of the Rings, the Game of Thrones, now that I've watched that series, you'll go back and watch an old Resident Evil movie and you're like, oh, that's that dude from Game of Thrones. Like, get seasoned actors and fill out, you know, especially the older roles, the mature adult characters with seasoned actors instead of a bunch of first timers, and I think it could be a good recipe there. So I guess best case scenario for you guys, you know, how many episodes, how long will this show go, and you know, what would you like to see if it goes multiple seasons? How could they continue the story? Do you want them to plan for like Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated series, where it was three seasons, and they planned, you know, from the beginning where it was going to end, or do you want it to leave it an open series where every season they can kind of rethink where they want to take it? I mean, for me, I'll start. I would like to think, and it's hopefully they're not going to rush through this. I would like to see them plan for the future and not have Link and defeat Ganondorf in the end of the first season, unless that's all they want to do is just one season and be done with it. I'd like to have them plan for the future instead of pulling a supernatural and then every season have a cliffhanger and then they have to think about, oh, how are we going to start the next season? And then they always just kind of, the first episode just kind of wipes out everything that just happened the last season. You know, so for me, I would think have a good plan, have it arced out the way you want to and follow suit, and don't sit there and try to worry about, well, we want this season to end with a conclusion, because if it's successful, I think it would be more successful to have it planned out to have maybe 3-4 seasons in before you get to a resolution. I don't know. That's just me. I guess anybody has any thoughts on how they'd want them to actually make the seasons work? Would it be multiple seasons, or should this be a one-shot and done deal?
Okay. For me, this is something that a lot of persons haven't considered yet. If they could adopt the same model that Microsoft and 343 Industries do when it comes to what they do with their miniseries, I think that would work. Except what they do, they make it canon. So if they're attempting to make this canon, I think that would be the best model to adopt. Something like 10, 12 episodes, the weeks before the next game, the next installment comes out, and it always ends up being sort of a prequel to the events in the game.
Okay.
If that is the case, you obviously won't be seeing a lot of known characters, which actually would avoid the entire pitfall with getting the writing for well-known characters in the game and actresses in the game. That would avoid it entirely, since these are more or less characters you don't know, but the events would lead up to the game. So if they intend to adopt that model, I'd be fine with it being canon. And also, the timing makes sense. If they say this thing is going to launch sometime later this year, we know Zelda is late November, even without getting an official release date. We know that. November is Zelda month, so if they start this thing out August, September, and every week you have one episode, and the final episode comes the week before the game launches, and it leads directly, in some form or fashion, into the events of the game. That would be a model I'd like to see, but only if they get the execution right.
That's an interesting. I didn't even consider that. But if they're going to entitle it The Legend of Zelda, I don't know. We don't know what they're going to call it, but I think you'd have to have Zelda and Link in there. But if they do it the way you do it, they could maybe find a different way to title it so it's not misleading people or something. But that is a good alternative. I don't know. Be interesting to see now that you brought that up. I'm not sure. Me personally, I'd probably rather have them just make a Zelda, original story and have it just kind of out there to tell what the games try to tell us, in a TV show form for people that maybe haven't played the games or something. But that's also another alternative. Anybody else?
They would have to really coordinate with Aonuma in order to do something like that to connect it to the game, and then Aonuma would put it in the timeline. So that would take a lot of cooperation and participation from him. So I don't think it's going to go in that direction. I think it's going to go more or less what you said, Juice, is that it's just going to be an original series designed to capture the flavor of the Zelda franchise into a different medium, live-action television series.
It would be cool if they can do that, though, what Zen was talking about. I just don't know how they would do that.
Because Zelda always starts off with the basics, like your Link with no abilities and stuff, so it would be kind of hard to start unless that game starts off with some tragedy or some epic thing. I guess we.
So here's the thing: if you're gonna write for this show with a Game of Thrones type of mentality, then you're going to try to set up because that's what they said. They said Game of Thrones but family friendly. That's the idea they have right now. So if they were to do something like that, then we might get more exposition into the Zora Kingdom, more exposition into the forest. Maybe create a Kokiri leader or something. The Gerudo Desert, and have kind of a bunch of kingdoms at odds with each other, and have Link be in the middle of it, and meeting characters and journeying to all these places and getting new items and things like that. If you did stuff like that, then you could write it for 3 or 4 seasons, like Game of Thrones. But if you follow the anime, story, because if you watch anime, usually the entire thing is done within 24 episodes, and they literally just do 2 episodes of story, something fillerish happens, and then they get somewhere, and then there's a whole new development. You can't write like that for live TV series. You'd have to write either the long preparation Game of Thrones style, or you have to write within mind of a clear ending. If they feel like they're unsure about it, then they need to write an ending where it has to be it could be the ending, or it could also be a continuation if they so desire.
Yeah.
And if they do it that way, then they can do, defeat Ganondorf at the end of Season 1. And then at Season 2, you can make, one of his evil minions rise up and try to resurrect him. Something of that nature. And you could build over the course of 2 seasons, Ganon's coming back. Even more of a monster, even more, evil than what he was, But, I think the best structure probably would be get character development, create the backstory, the backstory for Link, introduce new characters, have him learn his destiny or whatever, and then have him go find these mystical items that are going to help him reach wherever he's reaching. This way you get the Legend of Zelda flavor in there. You make the viewers understand that it's about saving the princess, but it's not boring because all these things are happening. He's going to dungeons. He's getting his items, and you're meeting new characters along the way. And by doing that, you make it feel like the games. It's clearly different because it's original with characters and things of that nature. And then towards the end of the season, like I said, if it's a hit, then you continue off of it and you really start building off of that and really building towards the return of Ganon, or adding new villains, adding all these kind of arcs or whatever. But if you don't do it that way, then the way I said before, with Game of Thrones, really, really put exposition into all the different kingdoms and a lot of different characters, and a lot of different issues. You make the show more than a video game show in that situation. You make the show where it
okay, Mike, I gotta cut you
touches
off.
out to the audience.
I gotta cut you off. We gotta keep moving.
All right, well, whatever. Sorry.
I'm gonna ask a different question to Mega, and then Rel. I mentioned the CGI. I didn't want to see a ton of that, but Zelda's also known for epic boss fights with giant creatures and stuff. How should they handle that in a TV series? Should they skip that altogether, or should they pull a Hercules or something and throw in some CG creature or something to battle? What do you think?
They should keep those battles in. Having those kind of now with the monsters and everything, that's gonna be tough. I would say keep those kind of CGI, but make sure they're not the garbage sci-fi CGIs, because nobody wants that. Trust me, nobody wants that. I think Birdemics already showed that. And really just keep with those fights, because if you want to have that Zelda kind of experience thing, then you're gonna want to have these boss fights to come back. So if he goes to inside a dungeon, you're gonna need an enemy there. Probably just create a new one or bring back some old ones if you want. But yeah, I mean, really, it's not that hard to just do it. So just for the monsters, though, for like those kind of creatures that you really cannot do with people, do CGI, because there's no other way.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it.
But yeah, with Game of Thrones, I mean, they put all their money into shooting on location and paying these great actors. They actually don't have budget left to have a bunch of CG. If you've ever watched that series, there's not a whole lot of CG, so they would have to have one or the other. Maybe have one like boss battle throughout the season. One season, have one major fight with some kind of giant creature. What do you think, Rel? Do you want them to do that, or?
I want the bosses. I want to see how they would try to pull that off. I do want to see that. That's how I think they should do. Like the end of each season, they should have like a boss fight, or like you're going through a dungeon or whatever, and all of it lead up to eventually you fighting Ganon. But I would like to see them. How is it gonna turn out? I don't know, but that's what I would like, though. I think it would be cool to see that.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
playing the games, you're kind of used to the epic boss fight, at the end. So I think they should just go for it. Yeah, I know. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but it would be nice to see. I don't know how else they would do it. I don't know how else like.
I'm thinking. I just had an idea. Maybe have the plot line be Ganon's already been defeated once. This is a resurrection, and like Mike hinted at, and maybe he's thinking season 2 or 3. Maybe make the first season about a group of people trying to resurrect Ganondorf, and have the conflict mainly between human beings. Maybe have some magic in there, and then have one maybe big creature like fight. I just don't see them having the budget to do multiple ones and have it look decent and have good actors and stuff. So they got a lot. I mean, that's a lot of problems they have to solve. And
Netflix has the money.
Yeah, they do.
Money. They could do it.
But it's just
and
how
make
much
the money back really quick.
How much do they want to invest in this? We'll have to see. I know some of their other series, like what was the one with the werewolf and vampire, Hemlock Grove. Really well done, great acting and stuff. Just not a lot of CG. There was a little bit here and there, and then obviously House of Cards probably doesn't have, if it has any CG, only minimal. So that's really where budgets can get out of hand, is doing CG. So if they just kept it more human, then I'd be okay with that. But have some sort of fantasy element in there somewhere.
Right.
It's got to have some sort of fantasy element for me. So. We're going to move on. If anybody has just anything they want to say quick before we move on from this topic, now would be the time. Otherwise, we're going to start talking about Xenoblade.
I'm just curious if everybody thinks it's going to be successful. Does everybody think this is going to be successful?
It has the potential to be successful, but I think it has more potential to be terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Let's put it this way. It's literally, at this point, it's a flip of a coin.
Yeah.
It depends on the writer, and it depends on the actors.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of scared.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I'm kind of scared.
If anybody hasn't seen Legend of the Seeker as a 2-season, it was a show they just filmed, and then it just got syndicated on whatever network. It was on Fox in my area. I believe it's on Netflix or Hulu. It's called Legend of the Seeker, and it tells a very similar story. They didn't get the best actors, but it's good. It's charming for what it is, and there's some just beautiful women and some cool mythology. I like some of the ideas in there, so check that out, and maybe that'll give you an idea of what we could expect to see from Legend of the Zelda and a live-action TV series. So, all right, moving on. We're going to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X. We got that 24-minute video from Japan. Somebody was kind enough to translate it the other day. I watched that last night. Lots of information, and also turns out to be just the first part. There's going to be the next video is going to feature the combat, and I forget the other thing. So I know Zen and Maggie, you guys have probably already talked about this. I've talked about it a little bit on Active Gamer Life's podcast, but I'm just going to start. You guys know I'm not a huge RPG fan, but I have been more intrigued with this game. That trailer we saw in the Direct had me more intrigued, and now what we saw in this new video, informational video, I'm pretty much sold. Like, I want to play this game. Before I just wanted to, I thought it looked nice and like the setting, but now I really want to play the game, and everything we learned looked and sounded great, and I like just everything, all the decisions they seem to have made so far. From what I can tell, they've made all the right decisions with this game, and I'm just, as a fantasy sci-fi guy, I love the world they created, and the highlight for me was when they zoomed out and you saw the 4 or 5 continents, and then they zoomed into the one to the left with like the blues and greens, and it was like straight out of Pandora from Avatar. I mean, it was just beautiful. And for me, seeing the doll fly around into that big like volcano and stuff, I was just like, wow. I want to experience that for myself. I don't want to watch somebody do it. I want to do that myself. And that was the first time I really felt that for this game. So Rel, just a highlight, something that stood out, maybe some new information, something you didn't know going in.
A couple things that really stood out. I like that whole that camera probe thing that they shoot up in there, and then like you can pan around and look. I thought that was freaking awesome. Everything in the game all the environments look great, dude. I mean, like I told you, I'm watching a dude play Xenoblade Chronicles, and like you said, I want to play this game. I want to experience this. When he's in, I don't know if this is the parts you're talking about, but when he was in the doll and he's like going like to like some land that it looks like in the air, and then he's like going inside of it,
Yep.
And I'm like, golly, that is freaking tight, dude. That is tight, man. So I'm pumped for the game too now, man. I'm very pumped for it.
Cool. And
but it's only 720p, guys.
Yes, I can't play that.
I only can't play that. Yeah.
No, it's not that way either, man.
Absolute trash.
Yeah. I mean, did you see the hair? It does barely moves.
Look at it. I mean, it's like you go like that and it won't even move at all. Garbage.
It doesn't look realistic at all. The character.
I just hope. I'm very far from your typical graphics whore, but I just don't have your characters pass their hands through their hair. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because it draws attention to it. So.
Exactly, and that's why I brought that up. I noticed that. If he does that, nothing happens. Is like, don't ever do that. So we'll go to Mike next. A highlight or information. It could be a visual thing, could be an informational thing for you. What was the highlight of that informational video?
The highlight of the video for me was the ability to get your own doll. Like, you have to work for it. You get your license by, I guess, doing tons of quests and working for the guild. Like, actually, that's probably the real highlight for me, is how there's all these different like organizations in the city, and like you're going to join this office that's like dedicated to like exploring the planet for humanity's sake and everything like that. I thought the story was really, really good. The basis of why we're exploring and drilling, and I'm looking forward to there being like an additional like bad guy organization or something, or maybe evil aliens that are trying to stop us from living on the planet or something. I don't know, but the whole thing looks incredible, really does.
Great. Zen, why don't you give us your highlight, and then we'll get Megas, and then we'll go kind of into a broader discussion.
My highlight is pretty much going to be what it was from the very first time we revealed this game, and it's going to be the world itself. Just seeing the sheer size of it, it is absolutely massive. And based on Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, there wasn't really a shortage of things to do. So given that the world is much larger, either there suddenly is now, but if they took the time to fill this world in with quests and events that you can, partake in, that's a completionist's nightmare. It is mind blowing now, and I'm scared honestly because again, I rarely have free time for games like this. I can come from work on a weekday, probably play a couple rounds of Titanfall, things like that, right? Maybe Mario Kart, Smash Bros, what have you. But to sit and really immerse myself in a world like this, it's going to take time. This is vacation worthy.
And we're gonna have Zelda, and we're gonna have Splatoon, and
Star Fox and
Star Fox. Like, where are we gonna find the time to play these games?
Yep.
all right, Mega. I know you've been excited for this game. That's why I waited
I gotta do one thing though. Just like, all right, look. Just take it all. Take it all, man. I had it. Just here it is. Here's my wallet. Just take it. Okay, I'm done. I freaking just I love this game. When they keep showing more, it was beautiful. The world was nice. The characters are finally giving us some stuff. I'm glad Hulk Hogan's in the game, and just really. I just love how they built the world, and they have these different factions that you can join in, and I'm really hoping with the future online, because they did confirm that it's going to have all the online modes. Thank God. But yeah, I'm thankful that it's going to have that. The 32 multiplayer is where you can basically go out and trade stuff, which is going to be awesome, and you'll be doing missions for certain people, which is really I actually kind of said that as an idea. And it's actually finally coming true. But it's honestly the greatest thing that
wow.
I freaking just love it. And
specific that you learned that got you really excited, other than what you just said?
Something that happened there.
Something new that they showed us in that just took it to another level for you.
Really, they just showed what everybody's been wanting to see, which is the different areas. Now, I've been loving the way also that they've been showing the monsters, the creatures, and when I saw that, because remember in the exploration trailer for the Direct, we saw that worm that went like it was like a worm look like that went across, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, all right, I can fight that big lava monster from like the other trailer, but I'm not sure about this one. And then all of a sudden, boom, you can just fight it. I'm just like, what the frick? So that's something that's awesome. You can fight these big, huge things, especially those big, huge. They look like those dinosaurs with what were the dinosaurs with the long necks?
I know what you're talking about.
Brontosaurus.
Yeah, Thesaurus, right? You are the size of their toenails.
Yeah.
You are the size of their nail. That's the size. That's what you are. So that's freaking amazing.
But they weren't the highest rank. They weren't the highest level. They were like
they weren't even the highest level. They're only 50. You got creatures that are like around 80, 90.
Mega, may I interject? Have you learned nothing from all the RPGs you played? Size in an RPG does not matter. The smallest thing can kill you.
Exactly.
Usually the smallest things are the deadliest.
Don't underestimate anything. Because look at the level. It's like the green. What's that green blob with a hoodie? Kind of this old thing with just a knife, and all of a sudden he I think it was like a thornberry, something like that.
Tonberry.
Basically, it just has like a little knife, like a kitchen knife, and it has like a lamp, and when it stabs you, just
the deadliest thing in that game.
But yeah, that's what really just amused me, is just the massive creatures you can face in this freaking game, and that's what really kind of even sold me sold me even more. So
I mean,
you
just there's people out there, like we joked about the hair and stuff. There's people legitimately saying that the visuals aren't impressive, the character models aren't impressive, the hair, if everything, this and that, whatever. It's not 1080p, all that garbage. Has anybody ever seen a video game world that diverse with a completely new like alien world filled with so many actual different creatures like on screen? There's every clip, there's multiple animals of different sizes and designs, just completely alien looking, the effort that had to go into that. There's one point where there's this big bird and flapping its wings and you can see its feathers, and it's just the animation looks phenomenal. Not to be a graphics whore and from face value, but knowing everything that's going on there, I don't see how anybody could be anything but just blown away with what they've achieved. Yes, it doesn't look as photorealistic or anything as PS4, Xbox One games can achieve, but I've never seen so many animated animals in this huge environment all at the same time. They got the grass moving. It doesn't look the most amazing, but it's a nice touch. There's the one where Rel talked about the camera zooming up, where they're in the it's like a white sandy area, and there's these little like poppy seeds or whatever, and as it's zooming up you still see them and they're still moving, even when the camera's at its highest point way up in the sky. So just anyone else just notice how many different animals they were and how they all animated very well? Like there was an alligator with like its tail wagging as you walked by.
There's a lot of creatures, and especially they took a lot of course you had that big huge look like a horse that was shown, and also you have like of course the alligators. I think they spin and then they go right into the water, but they also made some original designs, I would say, from like this big, huge. It has like long legs and basically just this whole thing, but it's crazy. And they have another one where it's it kind of looks like a toad a little bit, because they kind of have like two like things that look like eyes here and a bunch of stuff that looks like a toad head. So it's really kind of unique. I like how they did this, and I'm just loving the fact that I can fight those things. It's not like a restricted kind of, oh, you can't fight it because that'll be too much. No, this is amazing, where you can just fight any kind of creature at all. So
I like the fact that there's so much diversity in the creatures. Like they showed creatures that don't fight you, creatures that are small, creatures that are big, creatures that are fierce, they'll attack you no matter what. Like just the fact that like this world, like they try to make it feel like a world. Not that it feels like, oh, these are enemies in a video game. It feels like these are creatures inhabiting the world. And just like how in our world there are animals that will attack you because they're vicious and feral, there are creatures like that in this game that will attack you just because of that. But there's also creatures that are docile. They eat plants. They don't bother anybody. Like I like that. It gives a realistic feeling to this world that humanity is exploring. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point, how they had different characteristics. And I think you nailed it right there when you said this doesn't just feel like enemies in a video game. They've actually made this world feel cohesive, and that's why I want to play it, because it's just like you're on an alien planet, and I know they've tried it in a lot of other games, and some of them have more technical prowess or visually more impressive as far as just technical specs, but as far as art design and just the design of the animals and all that, I just think they've taken it to a level that we've never seen before. And I mean, if this was on another system, maybe I wouldn't have taken as much notice, but as someone who really loves science fiction and fantasy movies, Avatar is one of my favorite movies. It just got me, like, James Cameron said why everyone went back to see Avatar over and over. It's because they wanted to live in Pandora again. They missed it after they left the movie. They wanted to feel that feeling of being on that alien world that was created so realistically. And I have a feeling that this game's going to kind of conjure that same emotion in people and say, man, I want to go back to Mira. I just really want to go explore some more and see what other creatures I can run into. Like there was a tortoise or something, and its shell was like looked like had moss and rock formations on it, like it had been growing there. And
It
there
looked
was
like that Pokemon.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
There was like things with like big antlers, and I mean just amazing different designs. They had the flying like dragon-like thing we've seen before, and it's just amazing. So Zen,
Yeah, I have so much faith in this game. I think Platinum is just gonna knock it out of the park.
You mean
really
Monolith
do.
Soft?
Oh, is it Monosoft? I'm sorry. Yeah. Monosoft. They're just as good in my opinion. They're both amazing studios, Platinum and Monosoft, but yeah, they're gonna knock it out of the park. I know they are.
So Zen, you know, not to try to make this about fanboy wars or anything, but what about everything we were just talking about the visuals and stuff? I mean, what would you say to somebody, even if they probably didn't even deserve a reaction, but if someone said that this game looked dated or didn't look impressive, I mean, what would you say to someone like that?
Oh boy, I'm a little bit rusty on my responses to idiots, but I'm gonna give this a shot. Let's see. I would try to sell the world to them, given that that's my personal favorite thing I've seen so far about the game. I would try, if I knew. Let's assume that I'm aware of what the story is. I'd try to sell key points of the story to them. That's usually how I get persons who are unsure about games to get into the game if they're not immediately on it by what they've seen at first glance. I try to get them invested in the story. Usually once that happens, it's done. Did it to a couple friends of mine with Mass Effect. They're hopeless Mass Effect fans now, so I consider that a success.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. That's what I try to do. I try to sell them anything but the visuals, and usually what happens is the visuals are typically the first thing you see. That's why trailers are formatted the way they are. Boom, bang, explosion. This looks good. This looks good. Buy this now. Coming out XY date. You know, that's usually how trailers are. So they don't really tell you anything about what to expect more than just what you see at first. So, for someone unsure about the game, I try to sell the other aspects of the game to him or her, and hopefully it sticks. And if it does, I've just made another fan. If it doesn't, well, no loss. I failed. Maybe someone will be more successful than I was.
Yeah, that's a good point. Try to point out the aspects of the game not related to visuals. If that's all they seem to care about, then give them another reason to play it, and then they might wise up to gameplay is actually more important. But I just thought, if anyone's watching this that tries to still tell themselves that game doesn't look impressive, I mean, yeah, from a just technical resolution, frame rate, and all that, yeah, maybe it's not going to be the most technically, well-performing game this year, but it's from an art style, from a cohesive, like the aesthetic, and all the work that went into every little aspect of it. I mean,
yeah,
I played GTA.
There's a reason for it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of love and a lot of care that went into that, and somebody said some of the animals, based on their environments, like they actually paid attention to what that environment, what kind of animal would actually live in that environment. They didn't just throw a random animal next to a pond or something. They actually thought about what kind of animal might live in that environment, which is just like mind blowing.
I think I read an article or something, or I heard somewhere that the game just barely fit on the disc.
Mm-hmm.
Like they packed so much stuff into this game that's the reason why they can't go 1080p full on, because
what are you talking about? Titanfall was 60 gigs. So knowing that it's a Nintendo game and it's 22 gigs says a lot, but
I think it's the word you're looking for there is compression.
Mm-hmm.
And most of these other people, they don't know the meaning of that word, so they just take the raw game, slap it in the disc, call it a day. But I don't know I don't know why that's their modus operandi. I have no idea, but that's what Nintendo does most times. They really do understand how to fit more than should be on discs or whatever,
And they also they're going to amend the operating system to allow for installing of games, even if you buy the disc version, to help with loading times and help so that world can be seamlessly loaded, which is a problem that obviously they needed solved in a one of the reasons a lot of people said GTA 5 could never be on the Wii U is that there's no way to install, and so this could open up the door for more games.
Let's put it this way. I'm an extremely patient person. Otherwise, it doesn't matter with games, but normally I'm extremely patient. It takes a lot to get on my nerves, and I played Skyrim. Enough said.
Yes. I've heard, I never played it personally, but I heard someone told me, like, they went into a house and they had to load, and then when they come back, they had to wait for the game to reload the world again, and he had the PS3 version, and he stopped playing it. He just had to stop playing it, so hopefully we don't get that. In the video they showed that the fast travel, it looked like it took 3 seconds. I don't know if they edited that together, but I'd be impressed if that was true. But for me, I'm just going to throw this out here. I think it's one of the more, and I hate to use the term, but next-gen looking games I've seen as far as what they've done with the size of the world and everything, that's all the detail that went into it. And I can tell you right now, this game didn't have $300 million budget like GTA 5, but it looks to be at least 5 to 10 times the size, the game world. And I'm guessing, I would be surprised if the budget was over $70 million for this game. I mean, I don't know. Nintendo's not known for throwing huge amounts of money at games. What they've done with what would probably be a modest budget by any other studio, very impressive.
One way or the other, it's either they're very good with their money, they budgeted their money very well, they used the money for things they knew they needed for this game, or Monolith Soft is a sweatshop. I'm not sure.
That could be true.
You know, well, I know they're gonna be doing this when that game releases, man. They're just gonna be like, your money is nice.
That's good. I'm glad you brought up the money. And Rel, I don't know if you want to tackle this, but I was watching. What was I watching? Something, it was either on Fox or CW, and there's a commercial for the Order 1886, okay? And this is going to get back to Xenoblade X real quick. So their advertisement showed the team scaling down the blimp, if anyone's seen the beginning of that game. Quotation marks. Visually stunning from so-so Game Informer. And then next they show somebody shooting. It says blah 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 cinematic experience, and then it ended with gorgeous visuals or something. Those were the 3 quotes, and that was the end of the commercial. It was one of the weaker PlayStation commercials I had seen. So with that in mind, how should they advertise Xenoblade Chronicles X to the U.S.? Should they just try to cater towards the people they know will already like the game, or should they try to get people in a different way and try to bring in new players and new people to this franchise? They got the Los Angeles vibe, you know. I guess I'll leave it up to you, then I'll give my thoughts. What should they do to advertise this game in your mind? How should they approach it?
I'm thinking that they should probably look. All the people that are probably going to get this game, that already have their eyes set on this game, everything are probably going to get it. So I think they should push how beautiful the environment is and everything like that. Being how, you know, the U.S. over here, we're kind of all about graphics. So I just kind of feel like that's what I think. Yeah, that's what I. Hey, that's what it's about. That's what it's about over here, man. I mean,
so should they do a GTA 5 have some cool hip music or some kind of popular music with them walking down New Los Angeles, and then maybe cut to flying the mechs through that awesome Avatar-like world, and maybe just try to trick them into thinking it's something it isn't? I mean.
But then you have like a problem like Destiny. That's why I don't know where to go with it, because it's like if you do that, you entice people, and then they're probably like, well, what the hell is this, dude? I didn't want this. You know what I mean? So if they just going for the sales, man, I say go ahead and dupe people into getting it, man. But you know, I don't know how the hell they will pull this off. I don't know how they're gonna pull this off.
Maybe what they could do is they could relate Shulk from Smash Brothers into the promotion. So they could show like Shulk in his Smash Brothers form, like suddenly transform into this Well, actually, Shulk's not in the game. I can't even do that.
He's not in the game.
No, he's not in the game.
You know what?
Well,
you want to
yeah, that doesn't work. Well, I guess they really need to just focus on the mechs. They need to
That's
focus
right.
on
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
That's
exactly
what people want to see.
If you see Max and you don't want to buy the game, something's wrong with you.
Take some of the most exciting moments of the story without spoiling anything. Keep it toned down, but take some of the most exciting moments from the story. Take some of those cutscenes, cut them up real nice. Throw an explosion there, an explosion here. Xenoblade Chronicles X coming out, whatever.
That's literally it. Do it.
Do you think they're really gonna advertise this game like that though?
I don't know.
Actually, you know what they should do? They should make it feel like like how movie trailers are. Rushing, like that rushing feel. Like you're anxious and you don't know what's going on. Like have just shots of explosions and mechs and some beautiful scenery. Really quick and just give it to the user all at once. Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I think,
they could really try, of course, because if you push it towards the RPG fans and anime fans, they're gonna buy it. They will get it.
Yeah, they already know about it.
Yeah, they already know about this stuff. They love it. If you make their stuff all anime-ish, all the faces and stuff, they buy it. And really they should let me see if there's any space movies coming out this year.
Jupiter Ascending.
Like Jupiter Ascending, right? All these, I heard bad things a little.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
But
I like the elf ears.
I mean, they could, put it in movie theaters like they put Mario Kart 8 in before Godzilla. They did that, and it really turned out to work. They could put it during Toonami. I know many people still watch that, surprisingly. And they could put it towards, just put it on those type of channels on TV, to where you get that kind of crowd. So I guess, of course,
Robot view it.
Yeah, there you go. There's many ways you can do this, and advertising online is going to be the easiest thing ever because you can just advertise it, just put it on YouTube. There you go, voila. Of course, I'm going to help out with this freaking thing. I need to spread this card. Yeah, just advertising. Just make sure it's going to the right people, and if you want new people, make sure the advertisement details a lot about what you're going to do or what your, how the world is, how you could basically go inside this mech. And shoot guns. Do that.
There you go. Boom.
Just tell them you can
That's
shoot
it.
guns.
That's it.
What you do, bros, man? Show the mechs, show flying around alien worlds. I mean, try to play up the...
Chopping off a tail.
Play up the avatar.
What you just did, you just sold 1 million copies.
Yeah.
They could have multiple commercials, but put it on Fox or a show that has a science fiction somewhere, Sci-Fi Network, obviously. Start out with that ship crashing, then go to the Avatar character where he's getting blinded as he's getting woken up, and then show the alien, like all the creatures.
Show the mechs transforming. Show the people getting out of the mechs. Show the mechs as part of like a battle, like flash a battle scene.
Yep.
With the
Show
mech running with you.
Like
the
they
big
really
creatures.
don't have to do much. Like they could just take the gameplay, like the exploration trailer. They can take that, the recent one. They can take some of the gameplays or future gameplays that they're going to show us, and just advertise it with that. Just show them, okay, there's the mech, there's the outside world, there's the exploration, there's your characters, this is the city. Show them that you can freaking walk through an entire city.
Or you can get very creative.
And of course, you got to mention the guns.
Of course. Of course.
But yeah, I mean, it's just
you're very creative, man. Think about it. Anybody remember what game was this? Was it Super Mario Galaxy 2 or 1? 2. I want to say 2. Where it had all the kids in the street. That's all I can remember from it. And it had multiple planets you could view from whatever planet they happened to be on. And I think it had star bits falling or something like that. I can't remember the exact ad, but they got very creative. A very simple idea. You have someone, this guy gets up, he's ready to go to work, he has his suit and tie, his briefcase, very, very formulaic. but he walks out of his door and he steps foot into Mira. It's Mira outside, right? And there's this mech waiting for him and so forth, and you build on that. That's the basis of the ad. It's like step into a new world. You have a little slogan, step into a new world, or step onto Mira, or leave Earth behind, or something like that. Some really catchy line, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense because you do make your own character. So that actually would make sense. You just go in and be like, all of a sudden he has some hairdo, or just keep the same one, and then all of a sudden he has a gun or a sword in the back, and he's just wearing this different outfit, and all that. That would actually be really cool.
Yeah, and the story is good too. The story is that your character took a long time to wake up. The cycle of his pod to activate was longer or whatever, and now he's in this new city of human civilization, and he can join this organization to save the planet and explore, and it's just an open book. It's great. Storyline that they set up for it is perfect.
All right, I'm gonna pose 2 more questions, and then we're gonna wrap this up. This topic, and then we'll quickly talk about the new 3DS coming out Friday. So let me think about. First off, we had the rumored release date of May 31st, and I forget where that was. Target or somebody leaked that. That's a Sunday, so that already doesn't make sense because Nintendo games have been released on Fridays.
Nope.
So, when do you guys think that this game will get released in the U.S.? April 29th in Japan. You can already pre-download 19 gigs. I forget who it was. Nintendo Domination or whatever.
Yep.
He already downloaded 19 pre-installed, so the game's really close if they're already letting you pre-install it. So they've known this game was going to be in the U.S. We've seen it 2 years ago. We saw it. They've known it's going to be in the U.S. from the beginning. So that tells me the localization should have been happening simultaneous. So we'll go from Rel over. What month do you expect to see this game? Do you think there's any chance it comes out in May like that rumor?
Nah, I think probably like September-ish, I would say. That's what I'm going to go with.
All right, that's fair. Mega?
I'm going to say July or August, because really, translations now these days really shouldn't take that long unless you're Capcom. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say during the summer. This is a perfect summer game because we all know that the summer is dry as... Oh, God, it's dry. There's no games, barely. And I would see that, and then Star Fox come in September, something like that. So, yeah. July.
All right. What do you think, Mike?
So many games coming out that I think they would probably hold it till at least August. August, in my opinion.
All right. That seems pretty fair. I wouldn't want to see it in July. I just think that's a waste because of summer months. It's just, I don't think that would be a good time. What do you think, Zen?
When I saw May 31st, a huge smile crept over my face. Not because it's soon, but because for me, and I'm looking at this from a personal perspective. That's E3 and Xenoblade. That's only one lot of vacation I have to take.
Yep.
Birds, one stone, So
it would be pretty, it would make sense to get the game out before E3 just because we've seen it for a couple of E3s now.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be another thing, but I think
Splatoon? That's the problem.
Yeah, you get Splatoon in May. I would think September, August, September, depending on when you got Star Fox. Because Star Fox isn't going to be a long game you're going to be playing for 40, 50 hours, I don't think. So that's going to be a shorter title. And then Zelda, so I would think August, September, no later than September. If you get into October, then you're getting too close to Zelda. So, but June's also a possibility too. Early June's been games have come out and done well, releasing in early mid-June. So, the next question: English voice acting. What do you expect for this game? Do you expect really good quality voice acting or low end? There seems to be a lot of dialogue in Japanese. So are you expecting full voice, and you expecting it to be good voice acting or bad? So we'll go in reverse order. We'll start with Zen.
Oh boy, voice acting.
That's like a gray area. It's like a dark cloud on a dark spot on a silver cloud.
I'm just hoping. My one hope for it is the Avatar. You have multiple choices to choose from, similar to what they did in Awakening, Fire Emblem Awakening. I hate being stuck with this one voice. And a really good example, really quickly, I can bring up is Sunset Overdrive, where the game started, and I created my character, this big burly black dude, really resembling me, and then this dude has his voice couldn't be whiter.
Hey man! Oh no, that's a white man doing that. Yeah. Hey.
I just did that profile and start over because it didn't feel right. So,
yeah, that's a good point. Let me, before I get to Mike, I've watched some anime movies, like Japanese animated movies, and tried to watch the English versions, the English dub, and I can't do it. Most of the time I switch to Japanese with English subtitles. I'm hoping that this game isn't like that, because I don't want to have to read all that dialogue, but what do you think about the voice actors? What do you expect in this game?
I would rather read the dialogue than have like British actors acting out like the English dialogue. I can't take the British dubs. I don't like them. Like I didn't like it in Xenoblade. I didn't like it in Dragon Quest. Like even regular English dub is usually usually just as bad. But like there's the reason why Japan does the dub so well is because voice acting in Japanese is kind of like Hollywood. It's like you're a star. You're on your way to great things when you voice an anime role. So they take it seriously. They put emotion and work into it. Whereas everybody here would be like, all right, it's just a job. I'm just dubbing. It's a job, whatever. But yeah, right. So I want Japanese audio and subtitle option. I want that option. I really do, because if I'll give the dub a chance, but if the dub is crappy, I'm not going to be happy with it. It's not going to ruin my game playing experience. I'll get over it. But I would really love the option for Japanese with English subtitles.
Especially that little character. I forget what his name is. That little round one with the circle glasses.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention: battle chatter. Please have a wider variety of battle chatter.
Yeah.
I really do want to hear. I'm really feeling it 1,000 times.
I don't. That's why I'm still.
I'm really feeling it.
Yeah. I want to get Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS just to try it, but I just can't stand Shulk. So maybe if we could.
What?
His Japanese version probably isn't as annoying, but that British guy is just it's terrible. So. I will say there is one well-known American voice actor named Troy Baker, who's voiced animated TV series as well as many video games, from Joel from The Last of Us to the Joker in one of the Batman games, and he did in BioShock Infinite. He was the main character that you were. He's a really exceptional voice actor, and I thought I saw his name tied to that game, but I just Googled it and it didn't come up with anything. So. If they could get top tier talent, which I don't think they're going to spend the money on, but like Mike says, give us the option for Japanese because with the English subtitles, because those voices were perfect in that informational video, and they just put their heart and soul into it. So for me, that's what I would like to see. But Mega, and go ahead. What do you think of the voice acting? What do you expect?
Okay. I don't want to hear none of this British stuff. Okay, no offense to those people, but I'm sorry. You guys, I can't do it. I can't do it for like the whole freaking, and especially this was 300+ hours. Heck no. Okay, this is USA. All right, it says L.A.
It does say United States on the ship. So.
Yeah.
It does say United States. Okay, this ain't the new world of New England. Okay, that is not that. So we're not having no stupid British.
But Mega, very interesting point. Before you continue, all of these characters have a very Japanese look to them, like how they look, their facial features and so forth. What if in this alternate future the United States was taken over by Japan?
Oh, I would be freaking amazed. I'm just like, please send me over there.
I'm wondering why they made it United States. It's just weird because it's such a big Japanese game. But.
It's probably because they view the U.S. as like the #1 world power.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Probably
if you look at the
why.
sales of Xenoblade Chronicles, it was like 3-1. The U.S. bought more than Japan, like 3 times
Yeah.
as many
Uh,
copies of Xenoblade.
I mean,
Well,
you.
go ahead, Mega. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Just don't have good voice actors. Like, I wouldn't mind having some actors from some anime dubs, because there were some that were actually freaking amazing. If you've seen Black Butler, even those are British voice actors, but those are beautiful. Like, you don't hear Shulk kind of mess. Okay, you don't hear that garbage. I'm really failing it. You don't hear that garbage. It's beautiful. It's divine. But there's also some, I know some, because they'll just be like, "Oh no, you trapped my father!" Like, what the frick is that? I would rather have more of the Japanese voices, if it has to come to that. Because either way, I'm gonna switch it, because that's what I do with any kind of game, like a fighting game or anything that I import from Japan, or because sometimes they have it in different kind of ways. But even here, I put it in Japanese if I have the option. Because sometimes the voice actors, like for a Naruto game, I don't want to hear "believe it" every freaking day. Okay, so stuff like that. But yeah, just bring in good actors. That's all good. Just don't have Shulk voice actor, please. Just no.
All right, Rel, what's your take on?
well, further, I want to say this is why we ain't got no voice acting for Mario or Link, because we're all too picky, dog. That's what I want to say first.
Good point.
But I didn't mind the Z. I'm watching. Like I said, I'm kind of watching the dude play Xenoblade, and I don't mind the British accent or the talking. It's all fine with me. I'm thinking it's gonna be decent, because I look at the Xenoblade Chronicles one as decent, so I'm gonna say it's gonna be decent. I don't think it's gonna be that bad. I love when Shulk says I'm really feeling it.
I like the British accents when it's Laura Croft speaking it. That's
Real man. Let's put it this way. You said we were all too picky, and I agree. We are too picky, but there's a reason for that. We have, most of us, I hope, individually spent many years, decades with all of these characters being silent for the most part. So
Right.
imagine being married and your wife, you've never heard her speak. You married her because of the type of personality she has, or something.
How
Maybe
she
the beauty,
looks.
how she looks. Maybe you are that shallow. You just married for how she looks, right? But she hasn't spoken a single word to you. And one day, 10 years into the marriage, out of the blue, she opens her mouth and out comes, "Yo, you're like really hot." Okay, I'm reconsidering this now.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my favorite voice actress, Gray Griffin, or Gray Dezila, or whatever her old name was. She got married. She did the voice of Azula in Avatar: The Last Airbender. She's also the voice of Jean in Bayonetta. She's amazing, and if they could get someone of that caliber to do the main female voice, that could go a long way, because she's amazing, and she always just brings something different. Like, I didn't even know it was her in the two roles until I kind of thought about it. I was like, man, John's voice is great. I'm going to look who that is, and it turned out to be the same actress that does Azula. So someone like that could really lend some weight to the character and some credibility to the whole voice acting in the game. So all right, that's going to be it for Xenoblade. I'm excited. I wasn't as excited last year, but so far this year, a couple times we've seen the game, I'm more excited for it now. So there'll be more to come. They're going to have a second part to this video where they're going to go over the combat and stuff. So looking forward to that. But Friday, the 13th of February, the new 3DS is coming out. We got Majora's Mask 3D coming out, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
I got my new Monster Hunter 3DS coming in the mail.
Yep, so I just want to get everyone's rundown. What are their plans? What are they getting? What aren't they getting? And we'll start with you, Ralph.
Getting the red one. Is that what you want? And the games? Yeah. And I'm going to get the red one. I'm getting Majora's Mask. I'm probably going to get Xenoblade, and I'm going to get Codename Steam. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. Trying to think, is there anything else, but I don't think so right now.
So
I actually want that Puzzle and Dragon game. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people probably ain't feeling it.
Curse you!
But check it out. I'm really feeling it, so I'm gonna get it.
if you want it, have fun playing it by yourself. That's all.
Come on, play with me. Just come on. Don't leave me hanging, bro.
I'm gonna get Mario versus Donkey Kong before I get that because I'm gonna support the cross-buy.
All right.
All right, Mega. What's your plans for the new 3DS and how are you getting it?
Yeah, I'm getting the new 3DS. I'm getting red.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
And I'm also gonna be picking up some Amiibo. Okay, need these Amiibo in order to play games. Okay, you need Amiibo. I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna get them because I need them. Of course, I need to get a Shulk Amiibo, and also a Toon Link Amiibo. But yeah, that's what I'm really.
Are you getting any games with the new 3DS?
Games. I would say I'm gonna try to get Majora's Mask, but at the same time I want to get Monster Hunter, and I can only choose one. So that's gonna be the hard part. But I'll choose when I get there, I guess.
So you're going
really,
You're just going to the store to get it on Friday?
Actually, I'm gonna be there probably opening like when it first opens because, I got classed at like 110, so I'm good.
Nice.
Mega simple choice. Just go with the one you haven't played.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. I kind of know your plans. Why don't you tell everybody what's the current status of your new 3DS situation?
It's on pre-order. New Monster Hunter 3DS. I'm hoping it doesn't get canceled because my cousin's got his canceled. So I'm really hoping that the fact that I ordered it about 15 minutes before he did gives me the advantage lets me keep my pre-order. But yeah, so right now everything seems to be going good with that. I've got Majora's Mask on pre-order. I'm getting that, not the 3DS, the game. I'm getting the game, and I do want to get Codename Steam, but I also want to get like a bunch of amiibo for it because I want Marth and Ike and everybody in my party. So it's going to cost me so much money.
Have you played the demo of Codename Steam?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, it's really cool. Definitely.
I imagine I would like it because I really enjoy Valkyria Chronicles, and it's very similar to that, I think.
Yeah,
But
check it out. It's very unique from what anything I've ever played. So
yeah.
So are you getting yours shipped, or are you gonna be able to go pick yours up, or do you have to wait to have it shipped?
Which from my 3DS?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting shipped to my house.
Okay. Because mine's not due till the
Texas,
20th.
Apparently, it's getting shipped from Texas. That's what it says on my credit card.
All right. Well, mine isn't due till the 20th of February, the same day as Kirby comes out on the Wii U, through Best Buy's pre-order. And I told the story last time about how they canceled my Majora's Mask. I got a $50 credit. But my buddy Derek Steelfox, he wants the Majora's Mask one. I live on my side of where I live. There's a Walmart and a store called Myers. I'm going to get up at 6:30. I'm going to go there. He's going to go to 2 stores on his side of town, and we're going to try to find one because there's neither of those stores accept pre-orders, so if any of them are getting them, I'm sure I'll be the first one there, and then try to snag him one or hold it till he gets there and gets that. I'm getting the black one, obviously, but it's not due till the 20th, so I'm going to have to wait a week while you guys are enjoying your games and your faster boot up times and your face tracking 3D and all that. I'm going to have to wait. So I'm hopeful that that's just an estimate and it'll get there like maybe Wednesday or something. That would be cool. But Zen, I know Zen's in a different situation being out of the country, so do you have any plans of getting the new 3DS or anytime soon?
No, I actually did not have a plan to get one of these, period. Not until I see there's this one new 3DS only game that I really want to play, that I need it for. Hint, Nintendo, if you want that extra $200, then you need to make that next Fire Emblem new 3DS only. That's a way to start a fire under me.
I'm sure they will.
The problem is people
Pokemon or something.
There's too many people that own 3DSs that are complaining already. Like, I don't make exclusive games. Well, is it Monster Hunter that has better textures and stuff with the new 3DS. It actually improves it but it still plays the same on both of them. Same frame
And
rate.
the C-stick is really invaluable when it
Yeah.
comes to turning the camera around, yeah.
And then there
Me and
was
Steelbox were playing it like 2 days ago, and we had a lot of issues because of the camera.
yeah, it's really a pain with that using the touchscreen. But I'm excited. I don't play my 3DS that much because it takes forever, especially for Smash to boot up. Fire Emblem's not bad. That actually loads up pretty quick, and that was a reason I got Fire Emblem was because I needed a reason to play my 3DS more, and that's been true. So I've been playing it quite a bit, really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to the 30-minute extra battery life and the better 3D tracking, so I can leave that on more. And I'm just looking forward to it, and hopefully I can sell my old system for $100 because it's only bought it in September and it still has a year warrant. It had a year warranty, so it's going to have some warranty left. I'm hoping to get about $100 for my XL.
I will say this though, Nintendo is absolutely insane for launching this thing on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
They are,
Absolutely
man.
insane. I mean, you come home, your lady, your other half, whatever, is expecting something for her. It's like, hey, look what I got! It's a new 3DS. Oh my god. The fireworks, man.
She'll be lucky if she even sees you, because you'll be waiting online for getting to the store.
Is Valentine's Day on Saturday or Friday?
Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday, the weekend, yeah. So they just did not. Either they thought that through meticulously or they didn't.
Yeah, they give you a day to get it out of your system to play it all night.
Yeah.
But I'm not getting Majora's Mask right away. I might eventually. I'm considering it, but I'm probably gonna get Codename Steam after playing the demo. That's definitely on my list, and I'm enjoying Fire Emblem Awakening. So and then I might try Kid Icarus after that, just because I heard it's pretty good. And then so yeah, I'm looking forward to the new 3DS. I don't know what to expect for the end of the year for the 3DS, But like I said, if I can get $100 for my old XL, basically that's like upgrading for $50 for me to the new 3DS. So that's not a bad deal. And I'm looking forward to it. So I'm sure a lot of people, Nintendo fans and stuff, are going to double or triple dip depending on how many times they've bought 3DSs now. Just there's one thing of caution in Nintendo. This would be like third strike if the AC adapters are hard to find in short supply and people start scalping them on eBay. That could be.
Imagine, man.
That could be like.
Oh God.
That could be the final. Like that could break the back right there. Like that could, if that happens, I think a lot of people are gonna get really upset. So especially if you go to sell your old one and you can't sell your AC adapter because you can't find one. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if it does, that would be a tragedy, and I really hope it doesn't. So anyway,
from what I understand, they're taking steps to correct the amiibo issue. They eventually want to get all of them back in stock. So I don't know.
You better go
Hopefully
to
they won't do
Friday.
anything,
There better be new 3DS AC adapters. Better be there 1-for-1 with new 3DS XLs in the store. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Otherwise, they're gonna have a freaking mob on their hands.
Yeah. One thing I'm worried about is my Monster Hunter game. The new 3DS comes with it pre-installed. For me to transfer it over now, my old 3DS to my new one, I hope that somehow I don't end up erasing my Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit tricky.
That.
I think what you'll want to do is just transfer your. I don't know what you should do first. You probably pull the SD card out right away and back it up, the one that comes with it.
Yeah.
Back that up.
I think I'll have to put it on my computer first and transfer the Monster Hunter data that's installed into the computer, then do the whole license transfer thing, and then just put it back on the card after everything's all.
Because you got a new 32 gig card, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
You might want to. Nintendo's customer service is really good. You might want to have them.
Yeah, you might want to call.
Walk you through it, because that's a different scenario than most people. Because you're not just transferring; you're going to actually go to a bigger size card that you haven't used before. I guess what you could do though is just you start using that card right now. Transfer from your current 3DS. Save that, copy that data directly to your computer. Put in that new card into your computer. Transfer it from your computer to the new card and put it in and see if it works.
Yeah.
And just, I think that would probably be your best bet. And then just follow the normal steps of transferring.
Yeah, because I'm starting to have find out that I'm probably gonna have to do the same thing because I use a micro SD on my current 3DS through a SD card converter. So I want to use that because I know the ones that's gonna be with it is 4. I have an 8, so I'm gonna have to find out a way there or just buy.
Well, yours, that'll be easier. What you'll do is just link up the two 3DSs, transfer your license, and then just swap the card. You just take the card out of your old one, put it in the new one, and it should be simple. But the fact that the one Mike's getting has Monster Hunter preloaded on that card changes how it's gonna work. Cause
they should have done it where it's a download code, so that way it's not pre-installed in there.
Yeah, that's a good. It should have been a code.
Maybe I could go on the eShop and just download it again. Like maybe I'll get the license for Monster Hunter.
You'd have to have the license somehow first. So I would, like I said,
Wouldn't it already be on the? Yeah, I think it would already be on the.
The license won't be tied to you at that point when you just open it and it's new. If you could transfer, I don't know. Yeah, I would call Nintendo on that one. That seems a little risky to.
Maybe if I transfer my system onto the Monster Hunter with it pre-installed, that it wouldn't erase the Monster Hunter on the new 3DS. It would just keep it there, but transfer over the licenses.
Yeah, transfer the license and then maybe do the SD card swap.
Yeah, and then just transfer the Monster Hunter to the new card. Yeah, I think that's how it's going to have to work. Anybody knows for sure, feel free to comment and make sure to tag and link Mike to that comment because he's the one that needs the answer. Trust me, though, I'll definitely call Nintendo about it before I do anything.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for this podcast. Went a little longer than I was hoping, but as you can maybe hear in my voice, I'm definitely getting a little clogged up and stuff. So let's just go through the outros, and anybody has any final thoughts. Because the next time we'll talk, most of you already have new 3DSs, and who knows what other news will come out by then. But anyway, we'll start with Zen Gamer.
Okay, people, had fun talking with you guys about everything that we've talked about tonight. That's a little bit redundant, I know. But I don't know about the ZGZ. That's the Zen Gamer Zone. There's a lot of stuff there for you to watch, see, and experience. And yeah. That's just about it. Oh, and pray that this Zelda thing doesn't turn out bad. Just join me in that.
Just have faith. Remember the happy mask salesman. Just have faith when he gives you that smile.
All right, great to have you back, Zen, and good conversation. So next we got Michael. Go ahead, do your sign off, and anything you want to say before we go.
Always enjoy. I love talking about Zelda. I get a little, overzealous with the whole writing thing. Because I'm a writer, and I just love to talk about that. But it was fun talking about that. I'm really excited for Xenoblade Chronicles X, and just can't wait. I want to talk about my channel real quick. I haven't been doing many gameplay videos, but in 2015, I'm planning on doing a lot more gameplay reviews and discussions. So if you guys want to check that out, you can check that out. It's my channel is NW Order for Life. So thanks for having me on the podcast, guys. Always looking forward to future podcasts, and you're a great company. Thank you.
Yeah, great to have your passion about Zelda. I had to cut you off there because we could have just a whole show just on writing an episode. And maybe you should write an episode and submit it. And see what
I wanted to say? I wish Netflix would have a contest where they the winner of the contest gets to be a part of the writing team. Something and just to have a real Zelda fan in there, helping out the writers, so fun.
So next we got the Mega Gamer Games.
Well, it's been great, especially with Xenoblade. Of course, you guys know the fangasm. But yeah, so it was good. definitely going to be looking at. Just to let you know, I just got a notification that Smash has an update right now on the 3DS for the amiibo support and all that. Just want to let that out there. But yeah, I'll just see you later. I think I got something tomorrow, my own little thing. But and trust me, this guy has been trained a lot. So if he wins, I'm sorry. But yes, I'll see you guys later. It's been great. So bye-bye.
All right. Last and definitely least, we have ASAP Rob.
Hey, just happy to be on the cast, Juice. Thank you for having me on, and it's good talking to everybody.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see that amiibo collection stacked up behind you, man.
I got them. Do you want me to break them out when we go off air?
Next time you're on, have them ready.
All right.
All right. Good to have you back on, everyone. Great discussion. I thought we took the topics into some good territory. I was very happy. Some of the organic nature of this conversation went. I don't know what I was trying to say, but it was a good conversation. Really enjoyed this, and I was feeling sick earlier today and last night, so I almost thought about canceling it, but I'm really glad I didn't. So hopefully everyone watching this enjoyed it. I didn't have the Q&A app open because I didn't want to drag this out any longer. But yeah, I thought we did a good job. Ended up being another hour and 40 minutes. I was trying to keep it around an hour, but that's nearly impossible. So thanks to everybody who watched live, and anybody watching this on the replay, feel free to comment in the comment section on YouTube. So with that, I want to thank my guests one more time and say that this is it for the Juice is Loose, number 35. I've been your host, Terminator Juice, and we'll see you on the next video.